Welcome to session 50, where we'll continue reading King Lear. We are into Act 3, Scene 1. So, as we know, King Lear now he is losing control over his mind and he has lost faith in the words of his daughters, Regan and Gonrelia, and he comes out to the storm. So, as the storm rages out on the heath, Kent, who is now discussed as Caius, very loyal to King Lear, he meets a gentleman who describes Lear's madness to him. And Kent, he tells the gentleman that there is trouble brewing between Cornwall and Albany, and that Cordelia, very important information, that Cordelia and French forces have landed at Dover with the intention of helping Lear. And he also instructs the gentleman to deliver a message to Cordelia informing her of Lear's present situation, that he is being betrayed by Goneril and Regan. And what we see here is that Kent initiating the first positive steps to save Lear in this scene. Through the gentleman's report, we learn that Lear's rage against his daughters has reached new heights, where he now has clearly understood the real intentions of words of flattery which they gave in the beginning of the play. So he runs bareheaded in the rain, calling on the forces of nature to destroy mankind. So he is showing his anger towards the forces of nature. And he thinks that only forces of nature can destroy the cruelty shown by human beings. So nothing else can destroy the cruelty here. The kind of cruelty which we find in mankind's mind can only be destroyed by the forces of nature. And this is a very important scene in the play, the storm scene, where the force and violence of the storm mirrors the king's inner rage, Lear's inner rage. The other significant aspect of this particular scene is the role of fool, where we learn that the fool is doing his best to comfort Lear in his great pain. He may appear very sarcastic, very humorous, but we also understand his nature of caring towards King Lear, and he tries his best to comfort Lear whenever he is in that such a great pain. Although the fool has been Lear's harshest critic because of his irony and pun in his statements, we now see that how much he loves and cares for King. So what happens? Lear gradually losing control over his mind because of anger, because of the feelings of being betrayed or cheated. Lear wanders through the heath in the storm, ranting and raving at the forces of nature to come and destroy the cruelty of man being. At the same time, Kent arrives, and when he sees King Lear, he is shocked, and now he is accompanied by his fool in this condition. He convinces Lear to take shelter from the storm in a hovel. The king is aware that he is running the risk of going mad. So, what we see here, Lear is aware of the fact that he is losing control over his mind and he may go mad at any point. The only solution or the only thing which can stop him by going mad is to regain his senses by getting back to his daughter Cordelia. On the other hand, somehow he has to take revenge against Regan and Goneril. He knows that his ranting could lead him only to the brink of reason and tries to calm himself. So, in spite of his efforts, he knows insanity, the madness, is not far off from him. So, Gloucester is very much angry because of the behavior of Cornwall and Regan towards King Lear. He confides in Edmund, his illegitimate son, his feelings, telling him of a letter he has received describing the arrival of forces favorable to Lear's cause. So, here we see Gloucester. He believes his bastard son Edmund, and Edmund is clearly able to get the trust of his father, where he gives the secret information that Lear may receive help from French forces which are arriving near Dover. So Edmund at this point he decides to betray his father, and he reveals all this information he has heard from his father Gloucester to Cornwall and Regan. So in this scene what we see is Gloucester finally decides where his loyalties lie. His conscience tells him that unnatural dealing of Cornwall and Dragon and Cornwall is cruel and unnecessary. So that is why he takes the side of Lear. But unfortunately for Gloucester, he has no way of knowing that he is already being cheated by his son Edmund, because he has trusted him so much that he revealed that secret, but he is betrayed by Edmund himself. And Edmund displays total selfishness and heartlessness in this scene. In this scene, he intends to betray his father, though he must know that his father must be executed if he does so. At the risk of his father's life, Edmund wants power. So here we see Edmund as a cruel villain where he is ready to sacrifice life of his own father for the sake of power and jealousy. And Edmund also makes clear the fact that he has no belief whatsoever in ties of a family loyalty, which clearly shows that he is a man who is heartless, who can be cruel, who can be the most cruelest person on earth. And Edmund thinks it is perfectly natural for the young to take what he believes to be their rightful place at the top, and it is clear that Edmund has no morality. Lear, Kent, and the fool, they take cover from the storm in a hovel, and at this place they are shocked to find poor Tom, who is none other than Edgar, who is in disguise, who is already there in the hovel. So Lear is very much drawn to poor Tom, and he is moved or is touched by his naked, helpless situation, and he also finds meaning his ranting, because he slowly associates his situation of going mad with the mad person who is already present there, who is none other than poor Tom. So Gloucester arrives at the hovel saying that he has come to help Lear. So one important key moment in this scene is that we see the main plot and the subplot directly entwined here. The main plot of Lear's life and the subplot of Gloucester and his son Edmund and Edgar, now they intervene, they come together, and we see then that Gloucester arrives and complains about Edgar's betrayal. This most likely makes Edgar realize that both he and his father have been tricked by Edmund. So here Edmund tells Cornwall that Gloucester is trying to help Lear and gives him the letter Gloucester received from France as a proof. So here Edmund clearly betrays his father because he hands over that letter to Cornwall, and which tells that he is receiving some help from France. So Cornwall tells Edmund that he will be rewarded for this act of betraying his father and giving very secret information to Cornwall. Cornwall now promises Edmund that he will be rewarded with his father's title, that is Duke of Gloucester, for the loyalty which he has shown. He instructs Edmund to find his father so that he can be punished for his betrayal. Like Gloucester and Edgar before him, Cornwall also shows no suspicions of Edmund's deeper motives. Instead, he rewards him by making him the new Earl of Gloucester. So we see how Edmund, how manipulative Edmund is in this particular act and scene, where he gains the trust of any person and he was able to secure this place of being Earl of Gloucester. So now Gloucester brings Lear and the others to a farmhouse, and he goes to find supplies, necessary things, where now Gloucester, Lear and other people, they are all placed in a farmhouse waiting for the French forces to come and help them near Dover. And Lear here he conducts a mock trial where he still believes that he is going to make Gondrel and Regan stand, and he will conduct a trial, and he conducts a mock trial of Gondrel and Regan with the assistance of Edgar and the fool. So Gloucester he returns with the news that a plot is being schemed against the king's life and says that Lear must be brought to Dover, where Cordelia waits with the French troops. So Edgar is left behind and he makes speech about suffering. On the other hand, what is happening? Oswald he informs Gondrel, Regan, and Cornwall that Gloucester has helped Lear to escape to Dover. Because of that, Gloucester is somehow captured and was brought in front of Cornwall and Regan. Cornwall, in his rage that he betrayed them and helping Lear to escape to Dover, he tears Gloucester's eyes out, and then at the same time, Cornwall, in the same act of rage, is killed by a servant. Regan and her servants they throw blind Gloucester out of the castle, and his reaction, sorry, as well as cruelly blinded in the scene, Gloucester also learns that it was Edmund who betrayed him. So it is at this particular point what we see that Gloucester realizes the fact that he is being betrayed by Edmund, his illegitimate son, and he disowned his son Edgar, believing the words of his illegitimate son Edmund. But his reaction of realizing the fact that he is being betrayed by Edmund is of one that of self pity, and it is of regret for wrong he has done to Edgar. It shows great integrity shown by Gloucester. So at the end of this session, I have given some important quotes which appear in Act 3, in different scenes. Go through them, and then you have multiple choice questions. Go through them and answer them. Thank you.